show you the meanness. I'm here in Iceland, in Reykjavik, Sunday morning, June the 25th, on the morning of the Eid, and it's like almost 10 o'clock in the morning. And this is what I'm doing. A man who is like amorous, not just a sexual beast or a haywan, but as they say in Arabic, 9:46 a.m. And the Eid prayer doesn't start until 11 o'clock. I didn't read it very carefully under the pressure that I've been living under. But the thing is that this is how I spend the Eid. Most of the recent year, the Eid al-Adha or the Eid al-Fitr, what it's called, I spend it alone. I spend it by myself, alone, doing the Eid with no real fellowship, no real, I don't know. It's like removed of the things that make people happy. Am I still a Muslim? Yeah, am I still a Muslim? Do you still want Islam, even though your Islam is barren and empty? Yeah, this is the highest. I don't want to call it because I don't want to allude something to myself. Only God knows. But this is the level, intense, what they call in Arabic, imtihan. This is the intense level of imtihan that one could be brought to. Yeah, this is the intense level of the imtihan, where your inner core of your religious faith is tested, is put to the trial. The inner core, the most innermost core of your faith, meaning the people that are in your faith abandoned you and never really did want anything to do with you from the very beginning, from the outset. But you still want to remain in that religion. This is the innermost test of it, and I've been going through it for decades of this type of test. But the help that I've gotten outside of Islam, I would have never gotten that level of help to be able to carry on, with cars, vehicles, even though they're old cars, things like that, things on trust, based merely on trust. I would have never gotten those things done outside of Islam. Never. I would have never been able to do those things. So that being said, my dedication to Islam is almost complete, but not to an extremist type of Islam, not to a radical, violent Islam. No, just an Islam for myself, myself only, not trying to push it on my mother, not trying to push it on my son. And some people may have felt in Canadian intelligence that what they saw about me and me wanting to abort, I wanted to abort my son. Once I realized, before the fluid or the fluid of me and his mother even congealed, once I realized that his mother was a domineering type of woman and that I would have to sublimate my masculinity to her, to live with that type of woman, that was what really frightened me, because I was so hot in the pants, sexually or erotically, for the type of woman or the physique that his mother was. So there was things that she started to see that really hurt her. So a lot of women like this, and Doherty and others, they feel this is fitting revenge. And something was telling me you cannot marry in Doherty anyway, because there's so much rancor and hatred and anger between you. She would be like an adversary to me. She would be like an enemy to me, with holding all that deep venom. And like when the primitive people, they bite their mouths and they bite their lips when they look at you, when they think of you. That venom of total disrespect, especially if you're a weak man and not having money. Yeah, so you don't want anybody like that. That's about the money. It's about money and having money. You don't want anybody like that. It's better if you marry somebody fakir, that's poor, mesakin type of women. That's better than for you to marry somebody that's about money and that wants to be glamorous about the money and show off type of person. Yeah, you don't want anybody like that. And she's spendthrift type of person. She's spendthrift, very, very spendy. She wants the best mobile phone. She wants the glamorous, the clothes, and all that kind of stuff. The nice motorcycle. I mean, it's not a problem to want nice things, but to be like that spendthrift. I can bear witness, there's no victory in it. And materialistic hunger, there's no victory in it. But there's nothing wrong with comfort. Wanting to have comfort, basic, rudimentary, complementary comfort. There's nothing wrong with that. But that materialistic hunger, like desiring for the Rolls Royce and desiring for people to see that you've made it and to hold your head up and to be in snobbery and all that, it's no good, man. It's no good. It's very bad. So a lot of people right now, this is Sunday morning, June the 25th, 2017. A lot of people are sleeping right now. So I'm trying not to raise my voice on a lazy Sunday morning, but I have to wait till 11 to do the Eid prayers, and the buses haven't even started running yet. This is why it's important to have a car, to have a vehicle. But other than that, there's a filmmaker in England. His name is Tommy Robinson. He's gotten some fame with YouTube, law enforcement, police. A lot of people know him, and he's a pure Brit. And the man, though I'm a Muslim, I don't want to be seeming like that I've betrayed Muslims in England. But you look at what I've tried to do. I've tried to reach out to the British Muslims, or mostly of Indian or Indo-Pakistani and other ancestries, that are plugged in the money to help me. Nobody helped me out. Nobody helped me. Nobody helped me, man. As much as I'm trying to hold on to Islam all alone, nobody helped me out. Substantially in the way that I've been offered a contract to do dirt hauling, trucking, contract in writing from a white, because they respect the white skin complexion, the European complexion, and color and ethnicities more so than they do a black. Muslims, ethnic Muslims, have a lot more respect for European processes and ethnicity, and physiological ethnicity, and color and his skin hue, more so than they do the darker African counterpart, who are actually Muslims. They respect the European non-Muslim more. So offered in contract in writing, possibly more than one, in writing to work locally, and documents that are being gotten together. All I told them I needed is the help to borrow what is called Qarda del Hassan, to borrow the money. For what? To borrow the money for the means to be able to pay off the fees or whatever, if I can think clearly, because I've been fasting over 22 hours for 30 days, so my stomach is really shrunk and I lost a lot of weight. To pay off the minor paperwork costs needed, like $200-300 US here, $200-400 there, $100 and something here. I think a total for the to get the driver's license converted to a local Icelandic license. Let's see. $500 is 50,000 kroner. Let's say 70,000 kroner. As almost 700 and something. So they have a Qarda del Hassan fund, which is only for United Kingdom residents, right? They have a Qarda del Hassan fund, which loans up to 10,000 British pounds. 10,000 British pounds, right? So I need $500 US. Let's say 750 to change the license. Another, let's say 1,500 to get all of the paperwork accumulated that I need to submit to the Icelandic government, criminal background reports, FBI fingerprints, all of that, right? Then I need $1,500 for the miscellaneous paperwork, $750 to change my U.S. license to an Icelandic license, and then I need the time, right? So that's right there, $2,200, right? Then I need another $120 to be able to submit the application. Let's see, total I need $3,000, but I think I can do it for less. $3,000 US to get myself in a position to be able to submit the application for work and residency. From the stage that I'm at now to get there, about $3,000. Now, as far as living, if I want to have my own place to live, a room would be minimum $700. Worst case scenario, $700, but I found places for $500 a month. But let's say $700 a month. And then if you move in there, you have to have 3 months, right, to move in. Minimum 3 months. The worst case scenario, 3 months. So 3 months at $700, $2,100. So I just mentioned $3,000 plus $2,100 to move in, and then to pay the rent thereafter. So So that would be $5,100. But if I were to get a studio apartment in an area which is just outside of Reykjavik here, just outside of Reykjavik, there's an area immediately just outside of Reykjavik, it would cost me what they would say about 100, let's say, to be prepared, 170,000 kroner a month, a studio apartment. That's all I would want. But it's more like 140, 150, but let's say 170,000. That's 1,700. 1,700, and the pay that I'm being offered is, it's 4 to 5 times that a month. My pay is minimum 4 times that a month after tax, right? That I have been offered in contract. Minimum 4 times that. 1,700 a month, right? US dollars. So let's say instead of the 5,100, let's go back to the 3,000 plus the $3,000 plus 1,700 times 3, but they wouldn't charge that much. Let's say worst case scenario. So 1,700 US dollars times 3, that's $5,100. $5,100 plus the $3,000 is $8,100 US dollars. I told you there's a Qard al-Hasan, alhamdulillah, 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 alhamdulillah kathiran. There is a Qard al-Hasan fund which is mandated in Islam. Qard al-Hasan. One Ali Maulana Imran Hussein, who I called yesterday, Sheikh Imran Hussein, Maulana Imran Hussein told me that Qard al-Hasan is an individual. You get it from a friend. A lot because of the proliferation of be fruitful and multiply. I want my ummah to be the biggest ummah. Have a lot of children. A lot of people don't have those spheres of friends and relationships they can borrow that kind of money from. They don't have that kind of friendship or relationships to borrow that kind of money in the tens of thousands or hundreds. They don't have that, that people need, especially in high tier Western or industrialized states. They don't have that kind of money. So, those type of friendships. So they've created an institution that does it as a charity, interest-free loan, just like the Jewish community has. They call it Tazarka. There's another name they call it, the Hebrew free loan thing. They have it all over the United States for the Jewish community. The Hebrew free loan, no interest in the loans, no interest. And the thing is, and the Sheikh Moulana said it should be only between friends. You would never make it. Especially if you're isolated and being marginalized. You would never make it. You would never get the loan money out. That's why people of European ancestry, like a gentleman who's Norwegian in the United States on a famous show called Marketplace, his name is Kyle Risdal. He used to be a fighter pilot. Kyle Risdal, he says that the Europeans created the banking system and the loaning system in lieu of what? In lieu of the absence of family relationships, of deep, personal, deep, close interconnections as modernity progressed, as modern society. So they created a pseudo relative or friend in the banking system that if you maintain good credit and reputation, you could borrow money that you would never be able to borrow from interpersonal cronyism or connections if you were out of the relationship spheres. You can't rely on that in Islam. Like Mafi Wasta, Mafi Sugar. Those societies are not, that's one of the biggest problems. And there's a doctor, a secular doctor named Dr. Nasser Dashti of Kuwait. He knows a lot about that. Yeah, he knows a lot about that. That's one of the biggest problems, man. Mafi Wasta, Mafi Sugar. You can't live like that, man. Societies can't stand on that.